Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I'm sharing a slimline card featuring Waffle Flowers Tumble On stamp set. So for this card, I needed a mirror image of two of the images in this stamp set. So I'm pulling out Waffle Flowers Mini Media Mat, stamping it directly onto the mat, and transferring that image to a piece of paper. And for the first image, it worked pretty well. I got a good image of it. For the second one, not so well, but I think it's because I used Gina K's Amalgam ink, which is a quick drying ink, so it just dried up too quickly, but that's okay. These images are very simple. I was able to get the outline, so I just went in with a Copic friendly pen and traced out that image. I think that if I used a different type of ink, it would have worked a lot better. This was my first time using the media mat for a mirror image, and I think it was pretty good. Most of the time it's pretty hard to get a nice mirror image without me going in and tracing it. So this one was pretty decent compared to the other times I've tried doing mirror images. So for the skin, I am using this Copic combo of 3 colors, and this is a little bit different from what my normal Copic combo for skin is. Normally I use E00, E11, and E04, but I think that I'm just more aware of trying to incorporate a more diverse skin tones into my cards and being more reflective of the real world and the people that you actually do see out there. And so I want that to be reflective in my card making as well. So I will be testing out different Copic combos for different skin tones. And if you're interested, I'll have everything listed down below. So the idea behind this card generally is I wanted the same girl doing this tumbling sequence. I had played around with the idea of doing a waterfall card so you can see the gymnast in action, but I decided that I just wanted to put this on the slimline card because one, slimline cards are a growing trend, and two, it fits so well for these 5 images that it just was perfect. I really wanted to use it. And also, I did want to use them in a rainbow colors, so I am coloring up the little leotards in rainbow colors. So I'm going with red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. So that will incorporate the theme as well. So for the leotards, I'm just using 2 Copic colors because it's so small that you don't really need that dimension. So I thought it was good enough. And I think because I used 3 for the skin tone, it gives the dimension that I need anyway. So the darker of the 2 colors will just go where all the shadows would go, and the lighter color will blend everything out. I think that it works really well. And for my ink panel, I'll be incorporating the rainbow colors as well. So it works out, and I think that it will work for the monthly challenge. I've been doing monthly challenges more and more frequently because I kind of felt like I was getting into a rut with my card making. I was kind of going with the same layouts, creating the same type of cards, using the same kind of colors. And by doing these little challenges that a lot of different companies have, it kind of takes you outside of your comfort zone to create cards that you don't or wouldn't typically create. And this one might be an exception because lately I've been creating a ton of rainbow cards. So this one was a really easy one for me. Some of them are a little bit more difficult, especially like sketch challenges where they give you an idea for a type of layout, and those ones I think are really helpful in getting you out of your comfort zone. So if you're interested, definitely check out all the different challenges. And if you're interested, I can list down the waffle flower one and a couple other ones that I know of. So for the card panel, I am just going in and ink blending rainbow colors, the same as the girls' leotards. I am doing it on a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and the more that I am using Bristol Smooth with these Atelier inks, the more I kind of don't like it as much as using the Nina Solar White cardstock because the Bristol Smooth kind of has a waxy surface, which makes ink blending great. Don't get me wrong. Distress inks blend perfectly on them. These inks blend perfectly on this paper. But I think that the Nina kind of absorbs it a little bit more and it's more vibrant. So I think that this kind of looks a little lighter than it would if I used Nina Solar. It's fine and it looks good still, but I just noticed that, and I appreciate the Bristol Smooth having that waxy surface because it just makes blending so easy. But I think that I would put in that extra time to get that vibrancy and the paper soaks in the ink a little bit more. But regardless, it turns out really well. So my card panel was cut just a little bit larger than the die cut that I'm using for the slimline panel. I'm using Trinity Stamp's stitch card panel, I believe that's what it's called. It has a stitched outline border, which is really nice because it adds that texture to the card. And I like ink blending ahead of time because I don't like the colors pooling around the stitched areas. However, I smudged a little bit of red ink in the bottom corner. You can't see it, but it's there and I noticed it. So I wanted to go in and blend black on the bottom of this card. So originally I was only going to blend a little bit just so I can cover up that red, but it just looked weird. So I had to mask off the top part and just ink up the entire bottom portion with black. And I think it looks good because it just looks like the ground. So it worked out. I normally don't like starting over when I've spent so much time creating a card panel. And in this instance, I was just not about to just because of a smudge. So I went in with the black, paint it black color and covered up the entire bottom. And I know that that's probably opposite of what I just said because of how the ink pools at the bottom near the stitched areas. But I figured this was the lesser evil than starting all over. So once I finish that bottom area, I am mixing Perfect Pearls with a little bit of water and splattering it across the entire card panel. I thought that it looked a little plain because the girls' leotards are just solid colors, so I wanted to add a little bit of texture to the background, and I usually do that with Perfect Pearls or water splatters or white paint. And in this instance, I decided that Perfect Pearls would be really pretty because it's a very subtle fluorescent pearlescent color, and you don't really notice it until it hits the light. But once it hits the light, it's really pretty. And even with just the Perfect Pearls, I thought it looked a little plain, so later on I'll go in with water splatter as well. But it is really pretty, and it just adds that little glimmer and glitter to the card background and really takes the card to a different place, I think. So yeah, I look at it and I'm like, nope, I need to add water to this. So I mask off the bottom again because I want that to remain solid, and I will splatter water everywhere. These Atelier inks are water reactive, so they work like distress inks. You can add water splatter to them and pick it up using a paper towel, and it leaves this really cool pattern because there's no rhyme or reason. You're splattering it everywhere, and it just adds that texture to make the background interesting. So once I'm happy with the water splatters, I will go ahead and adhere the little girls. You can see that I decided to go in with my paintbrush and add splatter to areas that I couldn't quite get with random splattering. So I think that that really ties it together and makes it look pretty. Kind of like a glittery background, I guess. And so I'll just adhere the little girls after I line them up to match, and I think that they look really, really cute. I am pretty bummed out that the Olympics were pushed out a year because I really enjoy the Summer Olympics. Gymnastics is one of my favorite things to watch, as well as diving. And so hopefully next summer we're able to watch the Olympics and the athletes are able to go for the Olympics, because I know it's a bummer for them to be delayed a year. So yeah, and after I adhere this, I'm going to work on the sentiment. So this stamp set has the sentiment Tumble on and Celebrate. It's a stacked sentiment, but I thought because I'm using a slimline card, it would look better just straight across. And it does, and I'm not willing to cut my stamps. I know people do it. I know it doesn't hurt them, but I just can't do it. So I will take the time to mask it off so I can avoid cutting my stamps. But once I have that sentiment stamped out, I will trim it down into a sentiment strip and adhere it to the card panel. So I am fine spending that time masking off a sentiment just to avoid cutting them. I just can't do it. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but that's how I feel. And so I know that like a lot of my videos have me masking off and taking way too much time spent on that, but whatever. Yeah, and so once I have that sentiment ready, I'm adding it to the bottom of the card, and when I have time, I'll be mounting it onto a white card base. So that is it for today's card. I think it's really pretty, and I'll be entering it into the Waffle Flower Monthly Challenge. It's random, so you can enter yourself and have a chance to win. So hope you enjoyed the card, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.